Welcome, everyone. How is everybody doing out there? This is our first live crypto investing show. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but thanks for jumping on tonight. Thought I would jump on a little bit about what we've been doing crypto-wise and see what you're doing too. We can also talk about reselling too, because I know that's what a lot of people on this channel, have come here for. But I don't know. I thought I'd jump on tonight, talk a little bit about it, like what my experience has been, share with you some results and so on. Kind of get your feedback on how, if you're investing in crypto, what you're doing. And thanks for jumping on. So if you guys are ever, and even tonight, if you're interested in jumping on and being part of the hangout, send me a message on Facebook if you're friends with me there. Let me know. And hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Everybody's saying hi. But if you want to come on and talk for a while, you don't have to stay the whole time, but even if you just want to come on for a while and talk about crypto and so on, because I actually don't have an agenda. That's very surprising, probably to most of you. Excuse me. Suddenly this cold is trying to come back on me a little bit. So I got some hot tea. See if you guys can see it. I got the fireplace going, right? Gas logs. And I'm comfy. Karen is not here. She is actually out of town visiting her family. So unfortunately, she's not here. Sorry for all you guys waiting to hear pirate sounds. I'm not very good at them. But excuse me. Thanks for coming out tonight to hang out. I don't know. I haven't done one of these live before, so this is going to be a little different. Clarence Sanger says, okay on mobile, no video. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Maybe refresh. I guess the rest of you guys can see me okay. But some of you know that I started investing in crypto. It was actually almost a month ago. And, cryptocurrencies, there's Karen. Cryptocurrencies have been super, super hot. They've been all over the news in recent months. And, it's kind of like anything new. I mean, it's always, it's going to get a lot of press. There's been a lot of, quite a bit of, not press, but yeah, press to some degree. A lot of interest in crypto. And there's been some huge price changes over the last, 12, 18 months in some of these currencies. All sorts of new currencies and coins have come online as well. Crypto's here to stay, baby. I'm just saying. I don't know. I just want to say that. But no, in all seriousness, though, it's become a new investment vehicle. And for those of you who don't know, cryptocurrencies are this idea that you can have a currency that exists outside of governments that allows two individuals or more to interact with each other and send transactions back and forth each other of value based on a ledger system, which they call the blockchain, that doesn't really reside anywhere. Like this blockchain is all, it's in the ether, so to speak. See what I did there. But no, in all reality, it exists in thousands and thousands of computers all around the world, and they all have to agree when a transaction takes place that the transaction took place. So think of it like the blockchain. It's kind of like the ledger you would have at your bank account, except instead of just with one organization and your money just being held in the bank, these ledgers all have to agree around the world that a transaction took place, and they're independent of governments, corporations, and so on. So it's a currency system. However, people have been speculating and investing in the currency, and that's where a lot of the current press has been devoted. A lot of the attention has been given because this is these cryptocurrencies are going crazy. So if you have questions, ask them. And Purple Lily asked a great one off the question right off the bat, is it different from Bitcoin? Bitcoin is probably the most well-known cryptocurrency. It's a form of currency. You can actually buy things with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has value and it's given in fractions. Usually because one Bitcoin is worth like $14,000, $15,000 right now. And usually, so if you're going to buy something, you might buy something in a smaller fraction of a Bitcoin, and then all that ledger system would have to agree that the transaction took place, the blockchain. So it's kind of a revolutionary idea. You know, it's kind of interesting. I've said this before. Instead of trying to hide all the security for something and put a bunch of walls behind it, it releases it to everyone and says they all have to agree before anything really happens, which is an interesting way to go about security, right? It's kind of like nobody has an advantage. So, you know, everybody has the same access to the same information. So yeah, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. And there's many other cryptocurrencies out there. There's other coins and so on. And there's many coming online and they all have different features and functions. And I'm not an expert on them, but I play one on YouTube. No, in all seriousness though, I'm not an expert on this. So general disclaimer here at the beginning, any information given on this show is for informational purposes only. It is not, you should not construe it as investment advice. You should not construe it as I'm some sort of professional telling you what you should do or shouldn't do. So invest your own money at your own risk. And that risk could be that your investment could go to zero, that you would have none of it left. So always keep that in mind. And any investment professional, if there was one on this show, which there isn't, they would tell you the same thing. Even if they give you advice that's their expert opinion, they still would tell you, hey, you could lose money on this. That's just the way investing goes. Okay, so Euro says no Prof coin yet. That is a great idea, but no, I don't know anything about it. I'm going to try $200 just for fun. Yeah, and it's funny you said that, Drummer, because that was what I started out with this challenge with. So I started with $200 of fiat currency. Fiat currency is what we, excuse me, is what we know is regular, kind of the currency we've dealt with for many centuries now. Currency that's issued by countries, you know, US dollar, the pound in England, a Deutschmark in Germany, you know, those sorts of currencies. Those are what we think of when we think of fiat currency. I started with $200 of fiat currency and invested it and just want to see what I can do with it. Now, there's two types of ways to invest in, well, there's more than two, but there's two major ways to invest here. There's kind of the traditional investment approach where you buy and you hold. And you say, all right, I think in the long term, and long term's got a different definition to everybody, that the value of currency X is going to go up and this coin or that coin. So I'm going to buy into it and hope that sometime in the future, I'll be able to sell that currency and hopefully at a profit. Just like you would buy a stock, you know, you would buy shares of Apple at, you know, $500 a share and hope that one day maybe it'll be worth $550 or $600 or whatever. So that is one tradition, and that's a very traditional way of investing. And a lot of people invest in cryptocurrencies that way. They say, you know, I'm going to speculate here. I don't know for a fact what this is going to do. And by the way, we're dealing with a really immature market. I don't mean immature like a kid. I just mean that it's not very old. So there's a lot of things that haven't really been fleshed out or figured out in this market that are going to take time before we really know kind of what, you know, sort of reasonable rates of return are and things like that. So right now there's a lot of speculation. There can be wild price swings in some of these currencies. Lily, yes. No, it's not an intangible form of money. It is money. You can purchase things with these coins. It's not intangible. It's not any more intangible than the way money really is. Like, you know, you guys know this. If I went to my bank and said, give me all my money in cash, they would do it. They could do it. They could say, here's your money in cash. But if everyone who had money in that bank did that, they couldn't, or if they did that at all, the banks, because there's not actual physical currency available to back up all the money in quote unquote the banks. A lot of it does resist or reside electronically. And it's just kind of numbers on a screen. I give $50 to Best Buy. They take $50 from my bank account, put in their bank account. They used to go pay a vendor who puts it in their virtual bank account. I mean, it's all a little bit smoke and mirrors, right? With currency. I mean, that's we say it has value because we say it does, and we say and it exists because we say it's there. So, so it's a real. These are real currencies. They're as real as anything, and it's any other type of currency. So please don't think there's you used the word intangible, and I wasn't sure what you meant by that. So I just want to be clear on that. Tara says, do you day trade or do you buy in for long run? Well, that's what I was getting to trade. Or that's what I was getting to, Tara. The second way to, try to invest in these currencies is to trade on a shorter time frame, sometimes known as day trading, but there's some other versions of that. I'm actually what they call a swing trader. And a day trader typically, and it's basically how long you're in trades is what sort of determines all this. A day trader typically will buy into position, and a position just means you invest money into one of these currencies, one of these currencies, and they might only stay in that position for minutes, a few hours, maybe a whole day sometimes, but usually not even that long. Usually within the day, they open that position and they close that position. So they either made what they thought they were going to make, hit their objective and sold, or maybe the price went too low and they cut their losses and sold. But either way, traditionally day traders tend to trade within a given day, thus the name day trader. A swing trader may trade that fast, but a swing trader is more amiable to holding a position longer. So in my case, I might buy in on a Monday and not sell till Thursday. Or it might be a week from then, or even 2 weeks sometimes. So a swing trader typically holds longer. Now, somebody who's sort of a buy and hold trader or buy and hold investor, they typically hold for much longer periods of time. But ultimately, guys, and I asked this question to somebody, I said, hey, ultimately at some position or some point, you have to have an exit strategy, right? Like you're saying, well, I'm just going to buy and hold. But till what? To win. I mean, what's sort of your end game until it, goes up to a certain level, maybe it goes down to a certain level. I don't know. So we're all kind of traders in a way, traders with a D, not traders. Sounded like a different word. So if you think about it, we're all kind of traders. We just have different time frames. Some are very quick. Some are a little bit longer time frame than that. Others have a much longer window. But we all want to buy something, hope it goes up in value, and then sell it at some point in the future. Let's see. And I'm going to share a few. I might have to turn this fire off. Man, this thing is like roasting me back here. But it does feel good. Hang on. Well, Joe says if it doesn't fit in my wallet, I don't want it. But, even that doesn't really totally get you there, Joe, because there are countries around the world. There's been plenty of examples in history, even recently, that have runaway inflation and so on, and they have to print ridiculous size currency. Like, where's it, Zimbabwe, where they print $1 trillion notes, $1 trillion bills, because they've had runaway inflation, and the cost of things just went sky high. So the government just prints higher and higher money, but people are smart and figure that out. So it's, this all kind of comes back to why is something valuable. And it's really just because we say it is, whether it's a piece of gold, a piece of silver, an item we're selling on eBay or Amazon, a cryptocurrency, a stock, a home, a piece of real estate. It's just valuable because somebody's willing to give you something of value for it. That's it. I mean, there's nothing inherently valuable about investments and things like this. You might argue that a home or shelter, food, I mean, these things kind of are inherently valuable because we need them just to even survive. But technically, you don't need money to survive. It's just sort of the way we built society around this idea of money, right? But it hasn't always been that way, and it's not always, and there's even countries in the world where people still do barter and trade things, and money doesn't really have to exchange hands. So it's all kind of smoke and mirrors to some degree, but it's the world we live in, and I acknowledge that. Um, Profit, it is a currency. Gold and silver is money. Well, gold and silver are minerals too. I mean, we're going to argue definitions and semantics here a little bit. And yes, Karen's done very well with her investment. She's more than doubled it in just over a month. What technical indicators are you using? Well, it's funny you said that. I'm going to share that here in just a minute. Gene Talbot, my $200 is now $427. LOL. I don't know how to sell it, use it, or sell it and buy more, but there it sits in my Coinbase wallet. Well, Gene, you could sell 200 of it, convert it back to US fiat if you're in the US here, or whatever your currency is in the country you're in. And then you're kind of playing with house money, because you literally you've gotten back what you invested. You have zero risk of going, even if it went to zero, you would have broke even. But, or you could just leave it all in there, or some of it in there, you can convert it back. Coinbase is one of the wallets that I used when I started, and it's connected with Gdax, which I use now, which there's a link down below in the description. Here's my only plug of the show, really. There's a link to Coinbase referral program. You trade $100, you buy $100 worth of currency. We both get $10. So if you're interested in that, there's a link in the description below, which is cool. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but just wanted to let you know. Excuse me. Sorry, I got a text I had to read. Who needs cash? I PayPal everything. Yeah. Good. That's funny. What is your take on investing in silver compared to buying gold or investing in the stock market? I don't really know anything about investing in silver or investing in gold. I know that gold traditionally has been a store of value historically, and kind of a hedge against inflation. Whereas investing in the stock market has shown, if you invest in, say, like the index funds and so on, that sort of average the entire market. And that kind of presumes that you are not going to be any better or worse than the market in your trades. And that's not entirely a horrible way to invest, to be honest. But historically, over decades and decades, the stock market has had a decent rate of return. Not as great as some other things, but a rate. And but it depends on your time frame and your window. You could put your money in there and it could drop 30% and stay that way for 2 years. And you could just, but I don't have a take on silver or really comparing it to gold, to be honest with you, because I just don't know enough about those, other than I know that they are traditionally hedges against inflation and ways to store value. Sometimes they move in opposite to other markets or other parts of the market, but that is way beyond my expertise. So I don't want to lead you down in those paths. What forums or sites are you using for IMTO? Are you up? I'm not really using too many other forums. I have spent some time on Steemit. I have spent some time on TradingView, using some of their, reading some of the posts that are there and so on. My friend Bennett Stein, who was on the show a few weeks ago, who has the Bitcoin Trading Challenge channel. I watched several of his videos. He's really good, smart guy. But as far as am I up? Yeah, I'll actually share that. I need to make this. I keep meaning to make this this not spreadsheet, but this Google sheet available to you guys so you could like view and edit, but I just haven't got around to it. Excuse me. Golly. Tell you, whatever this was I had just really sucks. It's like it's trying to come back on me somehow. But yeah, I made a spreadsheet in Google Sheets where, of course, you guys know, of course I have a spreadsheet, right? I made a spreadsheet where I've shared some results and so on. So I'm gonna do a screen share here in a second. I'm just pulling it up. Let's see if I can get this to come up with the screen share. Okay, so yeah, this is my sheet that I started back on December 18th was the day I first traded. And if you're gonna start trading on a regular basis, I highly recommend you keep a trading journal. It can be, mine's not really that sophisticated. It probably looks a lot worse than it really is, but you need to keep track of this. You need to keep track for tax purposes because there are some tax implications. And again, I'm not a tax expert, but I know you need to keep track. But you also need to kind of be able to see, you know, if your strategies are working. So I started with 199.35 and my current balance is 227.87. I did pay some fees because I wasn't doing limit orders for some of these orders because I was stupid. So I'm basically up $28.52 or 14% in not quite a month. That's a pretty good rate of return, actually. And I will show you guys my results here. So basically, I made 28.52 on 15 trades and ran up 14%. And so that's a gain or loss of trade of 0.95%. I actually have a position open right now. I'll share that with you guys in a second. So some of you might be saying, well, Prof, you've only ran up 28 bucks. Like that's nothing. Well, you're right. It is nothing. But guess what? I didn't invest much. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to make sure that my strategy would work. Before I would sit there and invest hundreds or even thousands of dollars in something like this, I would definitely want to come up with a strategy and market test it. You could even test it. There's even simulators out there for stocks or cryptos or whatever you want to invest in. There's simulators out there where you can test your strategies against the real world returns, the real world results. And I wanted to see if sort of my strategies would work. I haven't spent a tremendous amount of time. I did spend a decent amount of time at the beginning sort of figuring out, but like I just kind of glanced at it a few times a day for like 30 seconds and then I'm done. And I just want to see, and because now the way I've set it up, you use what are called limit orders. And a limit order says, all right, when the price reaches this, buy at this price, whatever amount of money you want to buy, you want to put into it. And then once you bought, you set a new limit order, and you can set them different ways, but you could set them to sell if it goes beyond like a stop loss, which is just a point where it goes too low. I don't like selling low because it sucks because you're losing money. Like, I don't know. And you can also set it so that you can sell if it goes higher and reaches your target price where you think you should reach. So the limit order, and the limit order you pay no fees on either, which is amazing. With Gdax at least. Other exchanges you do pay fees, so I don't want to say that for all exchanges. But they're still cheaper than traditional what are called market orders, where you just say, hey, I want to buy this much or I want to sell this much. And you're pretty much guaranteed to get at that price, but you pay a higher fee for that. Excuse me. So the limit orders are your friends, and you can just fire and forget. Like you can say, I want to sell that when it reaches, 250 bucks and forget about it and just walk away from it. And, just check up on it periodically. But the limit order just sits there and waits to fill. Once the price hits that parameter, then it tries to fill your order. So limit orders are great to learn about. They're not that complicated. It's kind of like it would kind of, what it kind of be like on eBay because I know there's a lot of people on eBay. It's like an auction where you say, all right, I'm going to bid 20 bucks and I'll go all the way up to 25. Or it's like a buy it now. If you're a seller on the other side where you say, I'm selling this for 30 with a best offer, and somebody best offers me at least 24, I'll automatically accept it. It's very similar to that concept. Just you're doing it with an investment instead of an item. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. And I'm going to share. So I'm up 14%, which is pretty good, I think, for this amount of time. So far my strategy is working. Granted, it's only 15 trades, which is not a big sample, but I've kind of had in the first few, I was kind of different than even the last, say, 10. I've really started to, refine a couple things. I wouldn't say that's really a big enough sample to really know anything yet, though, honestly. So I'm going to definitely keep going just to see before I do anything larger. Gold always goes up. That is not true, Duncan. Prof, are you enjoy this new venture? Yes. Crypto is cool. I look at it as a possible way to diversify revenue. Obviously, with a $200 stake, you're not going to make enough revenue, even if you are being successful, really, on any given basis to really make that much. Unless you speculate in some other coins that could shoot up, tremendous amounts. And that's an area I'm not even remotely well-versed in. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. And if I do well enough with it and I feel confident in my strategy, I will invest more, which will allow me to, quote unquote, make bigger moves and potentially earn greater return. There's risk. There's risk in everything. If you put your money under your mattress, it's losing value to inflation. I mean, everything's a risk, so you could go buy a bunch of items and they don't sell, or they don't sell for what you thought they'd sell for. Everything has risk. It's just about managing risk. Do you have a spreadsheet to keep track of all your spreadsheets? No, but that's a great idea. That's pretty funny. Let's see. Limit orders are your friends. Yes, they are. More whiskey, Prof. Will get rid of that cold. I haven't even taken any whiskey, but maybe I should start. Hey, Prof, do you get more views on these live shows talking about crypto or eBay? Well, this is the first one I've ever done on crypto, but I'm going to go on a limb here and say I get way more on eBay. So, I'm just building a crypto playlist version of, or chunk of the site. I mean, it's never going to be it's never going to take over, I don't think, anywhere to the extent like eBay and reselling does, but I'm just, putting some content out. I think this is like my third video. So it's certainly not too many. Question, do you try to gain a certain percent on each trade? Now that is a great question, Clarence. And I'm going to say at first I was doing that, but in a little bit more conversation with Bennett, my friend Bennett Stein, I think that's a bad approach. Because it leads you down some dark paths. And so I'm gonna show you here in a minute. Can you use PayPal funds to purchase via Coinbase? I don't know the answer to that, Doug. You may have to use a debit card or checking account, honestly. And they're going to verify your identity. Let's be clear, because they have to. It's the Patriot Act, and there's laws around that sort of stuff. So you can't just like, oh, I'm just going to throw money on there and make a bunch of money and pull it off and be anonymous. Doesn't work that way. And they are insured, by the way, Coinbase, which is cool, which was one of the things I looked for. And Jeremy says, yes, you can use PayPal. So there you go. So going back to Ninja's question, do you try to gain a certain percent? I don't. I think that's a tough way to trade. And like I said, at first I thought I would do that. But then the more I started looking, I was like, it required me to kind of keep such a short trading period. Here's what's interesting. Like, you could get in and out of trades really quickly sometimes and potentially make a lot of money. You could also potentially lose a lot of money. But the market can be real volatile on these coins within short time frames, like 5 minutes, 15 minutes. And you can see, decent swings of 1, 2, 3% sometimes just in a few minutes, sometimes even more than that. So I like to look at like the hour time frame. And let me show you guys another screen here that I really like to use. And oh boy, we're so close. This is gonna be cool. This would be cool if this happens while we're doing the show. So I have a limit sell point on some LiteCoin that I invested in a few days ago, and it's close to the price. So theoretically, it could hit it while we're doing the show, which would be cool. I'm gonna show you guys. This is a site called Crypto Watch. It's free. I don't know if there's a paid version or not. There might be. But so this site, and I showed this before on a previous video, but it shows you like different coins up here you can put as favorites. Like I have Bitcoin, Ethereum. Bitcoin Cash, and LiteCoin, because these are the 4 that are traded on Gdax, the exchange I trade on. And it allows you to see over a time frame, like I've got the 1 hour time frame set here, like what a coin is doing, or what, how it's going. And when you see these little white like candlesticky things down here, that just meant the price went up during that time frame. And when you see red ones, that meant that the price ended up down for that time frame. So it allows you to sort of see some trends here. So here is what's so interesting. I think it was right here. I went in and, all right, I'm going to pinch this in and zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it a little better. So it's got a nice little pointer here, and it's got some tools here you can use to do things on here, including drawing these lines. These lines are what I drew. And I actually decided that, that this, let me pinch out a little bit more. I with my analysis, this 300, see this 304 right here? I don't know if can you guys see that okay? I don't know if you can see that great. But this 304 right here, trust me, it does say 304, I promise you, was a sort of a high price for LiteCoin. And this was back on January 6th at around 6 a.m., 7 a.m. And I use something called a Fibonacci theory, basically, for lack of a better term, to sort of say, hey, that's probably a market top. And this red point right here, actually, I think it was this red point. Nope, it was this one. What might be a market bottom. And so I used some Fibonacci analysis to get into the market. And this line right here, this one right here, you see that's at, I'm going to put it over here so you can see it, was at 245, which was basically where I bought in. And my analysis told me that, we should see a return to this 304 because I think this was kind of like a bottom, although it turns out it wasn't exactly a bottom. We actually hit a little lower than that not too long ago. And so my theory was we can get back to about half of that, which is roughly this line right here, which is 267. It's supposed to be 267. I don't know if I got it perfectly on it. So that's where my limit order is. And you can see that it's been very close to it. It got up here to around 263 just a couple hours ago. So that trade is close to closing. So I use the Fibonacci, and this is really technical, guys. It's a technical indicator, but I'm going to try to draw it here for you best I can. So this is what's called a Fibonacci, and I used it to look at like that 304 was basically a top. I got in, yeah, this is about right. That this was a bottom right here. Let me go back to the pointer. That this was a bottom right here. And I got in around 250 or 247. So my thought was it would return at least to like half of what this sort of top was originally. And that was right around 266. So that's where I set my limit order. It theoretically, if this was like if these are like real support points down here, then it shouldn't really get down below these too easily. I mean, it could, don't get me wrong, it can, but this is just sort of technical analysis, and it's probably too much to show you guys in this video. I already feel like we just got super, super wonky. I'm going to stop sharing that because I just feel bad. And I can't see the chat when I'm doing it very easily. I need to have like another thing up here. And that's called Crypto Watch. And that looked really super complicated probably to some of you. And honestly, it is a little complicated, but my friend Bennett has some great videos on his channel that break it down and show it to you a lot easier. So I use the Fibonacci series. There were some other indicators on there on how overbought or oversold the market is that I use too. That same screen will show you that. The volume is there as well. So it's kind of all 4 of those things really. And that's kind of what I've been doing. So if I hit this 267, I should, my trade should execute, and my trade will close, and I'll be up. Oh Lord, what will I be up? I think my goal on that trade was, At 267, I bought in. Well, I'll show you guys. This is really super wonky. I'm so sorry. You guys are like, I did not sign up for this. So going back to my spreadsheet, I bought in on January 10th. You see right here, LiteCoin. I bought 0.922 of it, so almost one LiteCoin for 246.32. That was the price. I bought 227 worth. I left a few cents off for some reason. And my target is 267. So theoretically, I could sell right now. It'd be near my target. And that would be an 8.4% gain, which is a nice gain. But I could technically sell it right now. But I've been in that position for 3 days now. I bought in on the 10th. Today is the 13th. So if it closes tonight and I hit this 267, I will realize an 8.4% gain on that in basically 3 days, which is tremendous. But you can see here, I've had a lot of different percent gain numbers. Like I was going for really small gains, like really quick trades at first, like 1%, 1.5%. And then I decided to adopt more of the swing trade approach and, go after those. And I've had some losses too. I had, a minus 7.5% loss right here, right at the beginning. And that was because I didn't set my limit order correctly. I had a minus 4.5% loss here, a minus 4.29 here. So I've had some losses too. And then just a bunch of steady gains. So, all right, I'm coming back. Woo, that was a lot. I'm so sorry if that like totally blew people's minds. It kind of still blows mine. All right, I probably missed some questions here. You can use PayPal to purchase on Coinbase, someone said. Someone said they started a week ago. They're up 170. That's tremendous. I am not going all in on one coin like this. I'm really trying to take a trading approach because here's why I'm doing that. Look, plenty of people have bought into one coin and seen some skyrocketed returns, like 1,000% within a few months or less. And hey, if you want to go risk $100 on that, do it. If you think that's a good strategy, I'm not going to tell you which ones to do because honestly, I don't understand that strategy. But people have done it and it's not a big risk. And if you hit a home run, it's a big home run. But I look at it like these markets are going to mature for like these 4 bigger coins and they're going to present opportunities for years to come. Whereas I think a lot of those other coins, some will be massive home runs and you will hit it way out of the park with little risk. But a bunch of others, you will just be duds and they will be out of the market. So you're kind of playing a little bit of a roulette game with those. But that's just kind of my my take on it. So I'm looking to invest in the mature markets. Like I would rather have a 90% chance of earning a 2% or 3% return than having a 1% chance of earning 1,000% return. Yes, I know mathematically it's probably better, but I'm only going to be right one time in 100. I've got to make 100 bets to get one right. And I'd rather just do it that way. But hey, what are some of your favorite coins? Well, obviously the 4 I mentioned, but I don't really know a lot about some of the other ones, so I'm not a good person to ask that. Let's see. If you don't have a spreadsheet or not kept track, is there still a way to track the Bitcoin Ethereum investment for taxes? They do allow you to download your orders and your orders on Gdax and probably these other exchanges too, I'm sure. But I don't know how far back that record will go. And it's probably a good idea to keep track of them on your own now. Like the rules on the taxes on this stuff in the US just changed. I don't even know them. But I know if I keep track of what I did, I should be fine. Like the IRS, for the most part, if you've got records and you can show where you bought something and made money or you bought something and you lost money, usually you're good. Usually. But when you don't have records and you just say, hey, here's what happened, they don't buy that. They're like, no. And they tend to take the course of action that hurts you the most. So keep records, guys. Very important. Live limit order, boys. Yeah, it kind of is. Oh, you can withdraw money to PayPal, but you can't purchase with it. Okay, there you go. Somebody said that. Yeah, so if you want to begin invested in coin with using Coinbase, it's a great way to start. I mean, the fees are a bit higher, but you don't have to understand the gobbledygook I just explained to you as much. Um, so it's what you want to put your time into. Um, but if you're a buy and hold investor, Coinbase or something like that is probably fine because yeah, you're paying a fee at the beginning, but you're buying and holding, so you're looking for a long-term return anyway. I don't think it's really going to make a huge impact on your return. But if you were buying and if you were trading a lot and you were using Coinbase and getting hit with that market fee every time, that would hurt. Like that would erode your return. So you don't want to do that. You'd want to use something like Gdax or some other exchange. Gdax is Coinbase. It's the same company. But Gdax is the trading exchange version where Coinbase is kind of designed at people just getting in and for the most part who are just starting out and maybe want to hold, they call it HODL, HODL, which is hold on for dear life, which means you just buy and hold. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. How do you weight the opportunity cost of further investing in crypto versus spending the money on more inventory for eBay? That's a great question, Rideshare Live. That's an awesome question, actually. I love that question. I would say that it's a long-term play. I understand eBay. Right now, I have, would $200 make me more than 14% on eBay in a month? For the amount of time I had to spend, the time's probably comparable because 200, I have to, 200, I could buy, you know, my cost of goods last year was right at $4. So that would be 50 items. You know, some of them would sell in a month. Not all. Would it make me more than 14%? Probably. But I look at this as a long-term play, and I haven't decided, you know, what it's going to feel like. It's a diversification as well. But on strict dollar to dollar right now at this point, probably eBay, I would guess. But I'd have to really sit down and look at that. That's a great question, though. I love that question. What is the RSI right now? It's high. I got a feeling. Let me go back and look at that. So he's asking about an indicator. Oh, we're so close. Oh my gosh, please hit. Oh, we might have hit. Oh, I think it might have filled. Let me pull up Gdax. So Gdax is my actual trading view. Whoa, there it is. Oh, it's so close. So I'm going to show you guys Gdax too. Oh, I think I'm going to hit it. I need to hit 267. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. Gosh, this is exciting. I can't believe this is like might actually really hit right now. That's so funny. Let me make sure I'm not showing you guys the keys to the kingdom here or something. Just kidding. Sort of. But let's see. All right. Oh, that's not Gdax. Here's Gdax. So I'm going to pull up my actual trading. So this is the actual trading software. And you can see right here, I'm going to make this a little bigger. So I have a limit order right here for 267. And we're at 266.69. Come on, LiteCoin, get there. So if it gets there, it should fill and automatically sell. So this limit order, you can see I made it 3 days ago. And basically this screen looks, it's got some of the same information the other coin had on it. But you can see this is to sell 0.999226 LiteCoin, excuse me, at 267. And oh man, we were like right there. It should have, it actually kind of should have filled. Oh, come on. It might have already filled. Sometimes it takes a moment to update. But if I can hit this price and get a buyer at it, which you have, this is matching, this is what's called an order book, and it's matching up buyers and sellers. And people are asking one price or people are bidding one price and people are asking another price, called bid and ask. Ask is like the sellers, bid are the buyers. So, oh, it's like right there. It might have just been below it. Man, that had to be so close. So if it hits this price, it should fill. But we can go back to, I'm not sure if you guys will see this. If I go over to Crypto Watch, where the heck is it? Are you guys seeing this now? Oh, it's 264.95. Oh, yep, you are. So you can see I'm right there at my, it might have even touched the price there for a second. But this is the bad thing about limit orders, if there is a bad thing, and there are some bad things, is sometimes your order doesn't fill because there's other, like basically what this is showing you over here, let me see if I can pull this up, is big blocks of orders are here. And they're trying to fill, like there's 73 or 148, 156. You see it change it very quickly here, the market size at this price. And that's how many orders there are for people that are selling. And then there's a bid price down here. There's 33 people at 264.65 or 34 LiteCoins that are now, people are wanting to buy that many. That's kind of a combination of all the buyers at that price. And then there's other prices down through here. So I could lower this price to like 266 or 264 and it would fill, and I wouldn't make quite 8%, which maybe I'll do just to show you guys, because I don't know if it'll go up here or not. Oh, the RSI somebody asked about is high. It is at 90. It is at 87. This little thing down here. Well, mine is MFI on CryptoWatch. This indicates how in this case, overbought the coin is or oversold. But when you see it get up here and it becomes kind of white, it's kind of hard to see probably. That means it's hitting an overbought status. And then it's down here at 20. If it was down here, it would be sort of oversold. When it's oversold, it's a good time usually to buy. When it's overbought, it's usually a good time to sell, just in general. But it looks like we're so close to that price. Man, that is crazy. So if I go in, if I drill down here and look at, say, like the 5-minute chart, you're going to see this change a lot more. So you can see here these are 5-minute blocks, 5-minute prints, showing you what the price has done. So it went up here and it got really close to 267, 266.91. Wow, missed it by 900ths. Man, that's just a bunch of crap. And sometimes it can do that. Yeah, I'd probably stay in this a little longer because this MACD number down here is not too crazy. And it looks like there's some buys that are not getting filled. So we might see it still push on up here above 267 and we get a sale. But it's very close to filling, as you can see. And it's still sitting there. Didn't quite hit that 267. Looks like we got just shy of it probably. Or didn't get enough. It didn't stay at that price long enough. There weren't enough people buying at that price to fill my order. And that can happen. As you get bigger and bigger orders, that can actually happen a lot. So what is the link below that and you get $10? What is that and how does it work? So if you sign up for Coinbase Gene Talbot and you buy and trade at least $100 worth of coins on Coinbase, my understanding is basically if you deposited $100 on it, that would count, and bought coin with it. You deposit money. You have different wallets on Coinbase. You have a wallet for Bitcoin, potentially LiteCoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum. And then you have your US dollar wallet if you're here in the US. And you can move money between those depending on what you want to do. If you want to pull money out in cash, you would move it into your cash wallet and then send it back to yourself, through electronic methods. But that's what would happen. Need to figure out how to get to buy to sell the altcoins. Yeah, you can't do those on Gdax, unfortunately. Oh, by the way, this shows you on Gdax too. Am I showing you Gdax right now? I'm not even sure if I am. Let me go change that. Are you seeing Oh yeah, you're seeing Gdax. So Gdax right now, you can see up here, Litecoin is up 10% in 24 hours. That's a pretty big run, but that can happen with these coins. I mean, you can see big jumps like this within 24 hours or even less sometimes. So if you're, if you don't like volatility in your trading, cryptocurrencies are probably not for you because there's going to be some volatility. There are going to be big moves in price. Clarence Ninja says with that volume, you'll make it. Yeah. And I'm still learning, Ninja, how to learn the volume part of it better to get there. I'm definitely not an expert at that part of it because someone with $1 million was there first. Sell. Yeah. Oh, it topped at 266.90 at 7:35. Man, 10. Oh, really? 10 cents missed it by. That's unbelievable. But I'm still gonna keep it open. You know, it's not even a greedy thing. Like, I feel like that my number is still good. And even though, you know, we missed it by just 10 cents, um, you know, there's an ebb and flow to these things. Like, price will rise and then some people will sell and take some profits. And then people will buy on the dips again. And then price will rise and then people sell and take some profits. And then that happens over, and then there's people doing that over different time spans. Some people are doing that every 5 minutes. Other people are riding that rise and fall train over hours or days or even weeks. So Diego says sell at 265. You think I should sell at 265, Diego? What's your logic? Yeah, I'll definitely have to invest 100 in a month, let it ride. Got to focus on eBay, but nice to have a little silent. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's not really taken away from eBay at this point. Okay, I give. What is RSI? I can't remember the exact acronym it stands for, but it's basically, I think it's like, is it revenue? No, it's not revenue. It's basically it's a measure of how much money is flowing into the investment, one way or another. Is it coming in on sort of the buying side? Is it coming on the selling side? Is it sort of in the middle? So it's an indication of how much money is flowing in and in what direction. So it kind of helps you figure out. I'm going to stop sharing this. Where are you buying this from? What website? Coinbase? Yeah, actually, Gdax is the one, Slot Fever, that I've been using, which I started with Coinbase, the same company. This all confuses me. Welcome to Club, Tori. It is a little confusing, but it's like anything else, confusing until you learn it, and then it's not. Deposit $100 in Coinbase. The boss gets $10. Yeah, it is a good deal because you both get $10. Like, that's the cool thing about the referral program. And once you invest, if you sign up for Coinbase, you can get referrals too. I mean, you can share a link with somebody else if you know somebody else who wants to, and you both get $10 once they trade $100 worth. So it's pretty cool. Actually, I think they pay you in Bitcoin, which is the interesting thing. So it's not $10 cash, it's $10 Bitcoin. So you theoretically have the chance for it to go even higher. So that's kind of cool. So they're paying you in a currency, which is cool. Relative strength index. Thank you, Ninja. I couldn't remember to save my life. But it's basically an indicator of money flow in or out of the currency. And we're 262. Dang, we got so close there. Sure. So I will understand this. Connie says, you bought these coins at your price. Yes. And Connie, I bought them at 246.32. That's what I bought them at. I spent all my amount, my entire US dollar wallet, they call it, and bought in at 246.32. And so I ended up buying like almost one LiteCoin, a little less than one. And now I set my limit at 267. So when the price reaches 267, it will try to fill that order and sell with no fee to me, which is cool because, and one of the reasons they don't charge you fees is because you're providing liquidity in the market. You're putting coin back in the market, which means more people can buy and sell that too. So they don't charge you a fee for that, which is pretty cool. But yes, that's exactly how a limit order works. You set a point to sell it at based on whether you think it's going to go lower or higher or whatever you think it's going to do. Don't sell, Prof. Patience is rewarded. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. I mean, I'm sticking with my little strategy here. That was a nice run up though, man. That was because it was trading around 247 and then it just shot to around almost to 270, but it was holding for 3 hours around 262. So it went from 247 to 262. That's a nice jump. That's a decent percentage jump there for sure. I mean, here's what you guys got to understand. Like, small percentages if you can make even small percentages over and over and over, that will make you very wealthy because you're compounding because I'm reinvesting it all each time. So like, let's say you make 10% on your $200 investment, let's just say. So now you got 220 bucks. So now you reinvest that. Let's say you made another 10%. So now that's $22. So now you're at 242. Now you reinvest that and make 10%. That's 24 bucks and 20 cents more. So now you're at 268 when that comes out. So you went from 200 to 268 in just 3 trades. You know, that's like a big jump. So compounding interest, when it works for you, not against you like a credit card, but when it works for you, it can really magnify your returns very, very quickly. Hey, Prof, you should join Bittrex so you can buy their cheaper coins. Yep, and I might. I'm just not there yet, Rod Share Live. I may speculate and throw a little bit of money at a cheap coin and hope it goes crazy. Do a little research and, try to turn $100 investment into a $500 investment in, a couple months. I mean, that's a crazy return, but it happens. What's your percentage goals for crypto? Don't have them, Ride Share Live. You might have missed that earlier. I base it based on I base it on price targets. And so I look at when these coins go down and they're trading lower, I'm buying on the dips. And I don't always get on the very bottom because nobody knows what the very bottom will be. And then I look at what it's likely to rise to within. I really want to be out of a trade within a week at the most. And I've had one that went like a week. It went like a week or 8 days before I hit my price. And I held it, and I was like, come on, this is ridiculous. And it just sat there for like 4 days. It didn't move hardly at all. But I really just look at a range, like when it dips and I see a big dip. Like I start getting excited, guys, when I see one of these coins go down 10%. If they go down 15 or 20%, I get really excited because now I've got a great buying opportunity. And so when I see that price really dip down and I see that MFI number get down there around 20 or even lower, coin has been way oversold. I throw that Fibonacci on there and say, all right, what's kind of like over the last week or two, what's sort of a support level here that it's not likely to go below? And if it's already at that, I'll consider buying right then. And then I look at, all right, what's maybe a resistance level it might go back up to? And then I'll look for some space in between that, given those Fibonacci lines. Like, if it's not likely to go below 230, but it's not likely to go above 300 anytime soon, I'm going to go somewhere in the middle of that for my target price based on that Fibonacci chart. So that's how I figure out where to go. I know that sounded complex. It's really not as complex as it sounds. And I'm still working that out. I am not an expert at doing that. So don't necessarily think that's a great way. If Bennett was on here, he'd probably be like, that's stupid. But he's a nice guy. He wouldn't say it that way. But let's see. That's what I want to do. Use my profits to buy more coin. Yep. And that's not a bad thing to do because you're putting your profit into an investment. And again, it can go down. Of course it can go down. I mean, let's be real. It's an investment. But the only thing I can guarantee you is this, guys. If you just let your money sit around in the inflationary economy that we have here on planet Earth, it's going to go down. It's not going to be worth next year as much as it was this year. And 5 years from now, it's going to be worth it even less. That's pretty much a given in most economies on this planet. So, people are profit taking. The price is down to 259. Look at that. It dropped like 2.5%, 3% there in the last 15 minutes. So that happens. Volatility. All right. A couple more questions here, then we'll call it a thing. Do you really think you should go all in every time? I wouldn't recommend that to new folks. Well, here's the thing, Ninja. I only have a small amount that I'm investing here. So if I believe my strategy is right, it makes sense to magnify my return by putting it all into play. Now, if you wanted to take like a diversification strategy, let's say you had $1,000 on one of these exchanges and you wanted to divvy it up and say, well, I'm going to put $200 into the altcoins and hope that, I'll hit a home run with a couple of them. I'm going to put 300 over here in Bitcoin and just ride it out and think it's got a great long-term potential. And the other 500 I'm going to use to trade. You could do that. You could sort of diversify your bankroll, your stake here, so that if any one of them went down significantly, it doesn't kill you. But on the backside of that, if any one of them went way up, you lost out on that return. So it kind of comes down to what's your strategy here. Are you trying to build a diversified cryptocurrency portfolio? If that's the case, then you're right. I would not recommend putting it all in on one particular one. But if you're trying to develop a trading strategy like I am, it doesn't really make too much sense for me to spread out 200 and some dollars. I don't know, like that, could I spread them between the coins and hedge my risk a little bit? Sure, I could. But I feel like I'm trying to develop a strategy here, and I'm not really losing a lot or making a lot either way, So that's why I'm using my entire bankroll for now. But if my portfolio was larger, if I had a lot more money in it, you're right. I would probably not be going all in on any one trade with all of that bankroll. You're right. So. I see on YouTube doing BitConnect saying they made up to 100,000 in 4 months. Yeah, I mean, Slot Fever, there are people who've made ridiculous money on some of these, but those are the exceptions, not the rule. So, buyer beware with that. Binance is not accepting new counts. Yeah, you got to jump through some hoops with some of these exchanges. And Binance is the one, I think I got approved on that one, but it's the one that you can only invest in coin on it. You can't deposit fiat US dollars, for instance. So that creates another hurdle to sort of jump through, which means you're going to have to get on some other exchange or wallet or buy Bitcoin or LiteCoin or these other coins and then transfer it. And there's can be some complexity with that too. Not saying not to do it. I'm just saying it's a few more hoops to jump through. Let's see here. Understand market cycles. Which part of the cycle we're in, and Elliott waves. These are your friends in crypto. Yeah, I've heard of Elliott waves, but I have no idea what they are. So, Ninja says trade half and keep the other half till you experience trading. Yeah, I could, but I have a gambling background, Ninja, when I play poker a lot. So I'm okay with risk. I understand diversification. I understand going all in and what that means. And I understand you can lose all your money when you do that, for sure. But I'm okay with it with this small amount. I'm okay with like putting it all in there and trying to magnify the return that I'm trying to get, that I hopefully will get, that I can get a better price. But to your point, it's not, diversifying or keeping some on the sidelines until you understand your strategy is not a horrible idea either. But I'm okay at this level doing it. Let's see. It is complex learning and transfer Bitcoin to Binance from Coinbase, but I think I need to learn. Yeah. And I've heard, Rogue Dolphin, that if you want to get on Binance, so for those of you who don't know, Binance is another exchange, kind of like this Gdax one I was showing you a moment ago. But it has a lot of other coins on it. I think it may have these 4 too. I can't remember. Somebody correct me. But it has a lot of other coins you can invest in as well. But it only accepts coin as deposit. And I have heard that it's easier and cheaper and faster to do it with LiteCoin than it is to deposit on Binance with Bitcoin. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, so don't quote me on that, but check that out, Rogue Dolphin. That may be the case. So you may be smarter to buy LiteCoin and then deposit that. That's the cool thing about these currencies, guys. Like, they are what they are. Like, if you have one LiteCoin and you want to deposit that somewhere else or spend it somewhere else, it's worth one LiteCoin. So, it's not like you don't have to do a currency exchange really, like you do with traditional fiat currencies, which is pretty cool. You know, like if you're in the US and you travel to Japan and you go into a store that only takes Japanese or the Japanese yen, then you would have to exchange your money somewhere else for yen to buy something in that store. If that store sold things in Litecoin and you had Litecoin, you would just buy with Litecoin. You don't need to exchange anything. Like it's one Litecoin is one Litecoin is one Litecoin. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. So that's the cool thing about these cryptocurrencies too. Question: why don't you go watch football like a normal boy? Don't even have TV, so that's going to be a trick. But thanks for asking. Let's see. All right, guys. So listen, I hope that was helpful. I had fun talking to you guys. We'll do some more of these. I just decided it would be kind of cool to talk about. If you got questions or comments, leave them down below the video. And if you want to see other topics around crypto investing, I'll take a swing at them. I'll give you what I know about them. I'm not even an amateur at this point, but I'll give you what I can learn, and you can decide, and you can, and share with you guys. But I am definitely learning too, and it's been a lot of fun. And hopefully this will be a great little adventure we're going on together here. And if you are interested in getting started on Coinbase, like I said, there's a link down below. I'd appreciate it. Helps out the channel, but only do it if you really want to invest and you think it's a smart idea, not because I said so, because I'm not going to tell you it's a smart idea, because I don't know. I don't know you, and I can't make that decision for you. All right. So I will catch up with you guys soon. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.